Hey guys, welcome to the Tie Jam. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I am Kristen Lumsden and this is my friend
Danielle Omo.
And we are really excited today to work with you. We are focusing today on the QL and Psoas. They are supporting muscles and commonly have issues if you sit a lot. For me, I'm having issues with mine because of doing yoga. But a lot of times we have issues, you'll feel pain throughout your hip. You'll feel pain in your low back between your ribs and like your hips. And the pain might radiate through the hip and you won't really know where it's coming from, but it's actually all these muscles surrounding that are kind of tighten up and ganging up. And we're gonna work on loosening those today.
Sounds great.
You wanna receive first?
I am very excited to receive first. My low back is good butt.
Wonderful, so you guys can check now. We are showing you a little bit of anatomy. Here is the QL and the Psoas. And you will see all the different muscles we are going to be addressing. All right, pick your booty up and I'll get this out the way.
Face down or face up?
I say we start face down.
Sounds great.
So go ahead and get your receiver face down. They can either use the pillow or not, whatever is best for them. So we're gonna start by just warming up her body. We're gonna do a little rocking to her hips. So you can see here, I have my foot. I'm using like the ball pad of my foot as I'm rocking her. I'm here in like the fatty part of her glute, the top upper part. I'm just giving her a little bit of jostle and trying to soften.
Very muscular glute.
Very muscular glute. She's obviously been working out.
Correct. Squats for days.
Is that pressure okay? So check in with your receiver. Danielle doesn't like a lot of pressure, so I tend to kind of hold back for her because that's what she wants. You don't want to give more than your receiver would like to receive. If your receiver wants more, you can lean in. And basically I would be, say if I didn't have my foot on here, say if I did, I would kind of lean in with my elbow on my leg to give more pressure, but Danielle doesn't want that, so I will not torture her because she's my friend.
So you say.
And so I felt like I was kind of being rough as I was rocking her. I'm just gonna take my foot down. You guys don't have a full mat most likely at home, so you won't have to deal with the creases, but I just have to adjust so that my foot's not in a crease and I have a secure base as I'm rocking her. So the point with this is we're trying to soften her glutes. At the same time as we're softening her glutes, you will see the movement that's going on in the body below your foot. We're rocking all these erectors, like the muscles that go up the spine, right? Your QL is this wonderful muscle here. So as I'm rocking her hips, you'll see that there's movement that's going on through all of these muscles to kind of start waking things up and loosening up, hopefully. So I'm gonna go to the other side, start loosening. Whenever you find a good spot, I'm gonna soften a little bit before. Where you put your hands might help balance. I like to put mine kind of on my head or behind my head if I'm feeling a little shaky. My left foot is not as stable as my right, so I tend to kind of do that. So I found a nice thick spot here. So I'm just gonna take a second. She approves. I'm just gonna give her a nice steady compression. Slowly coming out. I'll go right below it, nice little compression. A little more jostle. Ooh, I got a little high on her bone. I'm sure that it was like, woo. Mm-hmm. So I went ahead and shifted right back down. One thing you will encounter is these high-waisted pants are very misleading, so you have to feel for bony structures, right? So we don't want to push on the bony structure. We want to push on the nice muscular glute. Is that pressure okay? So you can see I'm giving her a little bit more pressure here. You see my hand here resting. Just that extra weight, the gravity of my body weight leaning into her makes a difference. So when you're doing this without us later on, you guys are practicing, feel free to spend a lot more time there. That is like some delicious work. But I'm just going to move on because you know me, I like to give you way too much information.
I
We're-
do love delicious booty work.
Yeah, this is going to probably hurt pushing you into that heating pad.
Okay.
So we're just going to palm press up the body. I'm using the soft part of my palms, but do remember that your palms could be sharp. I've recently discovered that I've got sharp palms. Thank you, Danielle, for letting me know. My clients will just say, ow, and they don't say that's sharp. So now it's new news to be aware to use a more soft hand, especially when you're coming up through the calves. We're just working our way up to her hamstrings, which also contribute to QL psoas pain. A lot of us sit throughout the day at a computer desk or wherever you are with work. And so you will get tight hamstrings, tight quads, and all these things are pulling. And as you see, well, here you go, you can see the muscles on screen. As you are doing this work and palm pressing up, don't ever let your arms be so far ahead of your body that you're straining your low back. Say if your arms are a good distance, you could stay here, right? We get to this part in the hamstrings, I'm just leaning over. If you catch yourself far back, go ahead and bring yourself up. This contact is okay. It makes the client know that we are here, we are working, and our body is protected and our back is protected, and that's important. So I'm again just palm walking up Danielle's hamstrings. Once I get to the crease where the hamstrings and her glutes meet, I'm going to give a steady compression. I'll go ahead and put my hands to the outside of her hips. I'm going to pop my legs up. I'm putting my knees right there where the glutes and the hamstrings meet. Take a deep breath in. With my hands, I'm going to press right above her bones, right above her hips, into the QL, the soft part. As far as bony structures you need to be concerned about, we have our floating ribs here, right? Floating ribs. And here we have our SI joint. So we want to press right between. Deep breath in and out. Too much pressure?
No, it's fine.
Deep breath in. So I recognize that the last pressure was maybe a little bit too much. I heard her kind of gasping for air at the end. I like my friend, so I just gave her a little bit less. But you never know, your body might say, hey, a little more. And that's awesome. We want communication. We want to know what you like. I'm going to watch you. I'm going to listen to your breath and your eyes. I'm going to watch them. And I'll adjust accordingly because we never want to give too much. We never want to overwhelm our receiver. We just want to meet them where they're at and help them feel better. Deep breath. I find breathing helps a lot with getting some release. It's hard to breathe in if someone's pressing into your ribs. So I like to press as they exhale. Right now I'm just doing some cross body. As I'm pressing on the left side, I'm pressing away on the right side, just trying to open things up. Have you been having any QL pain?
Yes.
Has the right side been bothering you more than the left?
Yep.
Yeah, I can feel it. So as you begin to practice, for those of you that are at home and are not massage therapists, you will start to understand when there is a problem in the muscle, you will feel a different tone on either side. I can feel that my right hand isn't quite sinking as much as the left hand is. And I can feel more, it just feels thicker.
That's what I want to hear. That I'm sick.
You're thick with 2 Ks. Take a deep breath in. Now I'm going to drop my hands down into her glutes, the top of her glutes, and with the exhale, I'm going to press in. I'm kind of following, you know, when you see on the hips and you see anatomy, they're shaped like this, right? So I'm kind of coming in and I'm hitting the glutes, the medius, the minimus and deep. We're hitting a little bit of the maximus. We're hitting all the glutes. So this time I'm going to slowly get up. I'm going to step to one side. I'm going to come to her right side because why not? So in this area, you will find your bony structures again, right? The way I like to find where the ribs end is with the back of my hand. Lots of people are ticklish, so coming in and poking, it's going to be too much. So I come in with the back of my hand and just feel for where her ribs end. I feel the floating ribs, and right below where the ribs stop, I know that that's the point where I don't want to go past. I want to do my first compression right here in this spot. So I'm coming down, straight down with the flat bottom part of my elbow, right? And I'm going to stay away from her spine. I don't want to press on her spine. I want to press right next to it in this yummy, let's see, oh, there you go, in this yummy muscle here. Deep breath in and out. So as we go into compressions, we always go broad to specific. So we go with a larger broad tool, right? I'm using my big foot to shake, using my hands to palm press, and now I'm coming in with a more specific tool, my elbow. Anytime I work, I go in slowly, I come out slowly. Here you can see some of the muscles that we're addressing. So you can see by that last photo where the attachment attaches on the leg, that is why I like to work the quads and hamstrings. Everything is connected. So I like to work the surrounding muscles of the pain, go directly to the pain. You can see I'm just hanging out. I'm not pressing crazy into Danielle. I'm just leaning in. With her breath out, I'm gonna come out. I'm just gonna go a little bit lower, but again, I'm not gonna hit her bone. Take a deep breath in and out. Is that pressure good, Danielle?
Yes. Good.
You have this extra hand, so you could give a little length. That might kind of take from what we're doing here with our compression. Danielle, are you noticing it's taking away from the compression slightly?
Not really.
Okay, good.
It feels nice though.
So then I'm going to slowly come out. See how slow I'm coming out? So at this time, I'm going to come in from an angle. So I was on top, right? Now I'm sliding to the side, and I'm going to use that little point of my elbow, and I'm hooking in to her QL. Another deep breath in, and then perfect. And so our first point, we want to be right underneath the floating rib to where we're not hitting the rib. We're into her QL, her erectors are right there. We're basically coming at it from the side. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get the muscle to release. We're giving it some input, hoping it has some reaction to let go. It also feels really, really delicious when your QL is bothering you.
Are you hungry?
What?
Are you hungry?
Why do you ask that? Because I keep saying delicious? I'm on a diet. I've eaten salad all day. Busted. Oh, shoot.
I want to hear more about my delicious booty.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, it feels so good. I gotta stop laughing.
How's that rocking?
It is so good.
So I kind of started, I was doing a static hold. Now I've decided, since she's so giggly, I was going to rock her a little bit.
Get me back in line.
Yeah, she's acting up. Got to get her right. You're having too much fun, Danielle. So I'm going to slowly come out. Let's go to the other side. Once again, I do come up, I just noticed I did that. I come up and I just kind of barely lightly feel where we're going here. I don't give any pokiness with my finger. I use the back side of my hand, locate where that floating rib is. Boop. All right. And I come in with this flat piece of my elbow. And when she exhales, I sink in. She gave me the thumbs up. She likes it. So your partner or roommate or friend is complaining their back is hurting. Say, hey, lay down. Let's watch TV. I can sit here and just lean on you and work on you at the same time, right? Anything formal, just kind of help each other out. This specifically is very slow moving. A lot of Thai is slow moving. So it doesn't take a lot of effort to work on one another to help reduce some discomfort in your muscles from a long day of work. If you have any friends that do Pilates, they would probably love this work that we're doing right now. I know the first muscle on my body that gets mad is my psoas and QL when I'm doing Pilates. So I came out again. I'm going to do one little spot lower. Have her breathe in and sinking in on that exhale. Once again, I got this hand just sitting here. And just give her a little bit of space. Just kind of pressing her muscles away from the spine. I'm going to slowly come out. Once again, I'm going to slide to the side using just this part of my elbow. And I'm going to slide in, coming at it from an angle. So here's her muscle. I'm basically coming at it from the side. Before I was coming straight above. Woo. Now I'm trying to come straight at an angle. I don't know if you can really tell. There you go. Beep.
Good.
Too much pressure?
It's good.
Danielle's been walking up a lot of hills lately, working out. Glutes are getting tight. QL's a little tight. She was due for some work and didn't even know it. So the plan today is that Danielle and I are going to show you a couple of different ways. I'm going to show 2 different ways to do a stretch, and she's going to show you a couple of different ways. So as you go partner to partner, after we're done today with the Thai Jam, feel free to kind of try the other way on one another. Whichever way I showed the giver right now, the receiver can try it afterwards and see what you guys think about giving that and receiving that. There's just so many different ways you can stretch and work on the body that we just want to give you a couple options, because depending on how your body sizes up to your receiver's body, it will change what you want to do. Also, weight will make a change as well. Say if you have a client with a really heavy leg, maybe one option would be better than the other, or vice versa. So I'm going to slowly come out of this compression. I'm just going to do a little bit of pressing away from the spine. Walking my hands up and down the erectors, a little bit into the QL. I got my right hand in the top of her glute at the top of the hip. Giving a nice stretch. And I'm always kind of walking one palm at a time, changing the position, moving lower down in the glute. moving higher or lower with my other hand to just give a nice cross-body stretch. Let the hip feel like, hey, I'm here, we're getting warm.
I like that bottom hand.
Mm-hmm. It's always a nice sweet spot. So right now my hand is basically right on her bone, right on her leg bone here.
Getting all those beautiful attachments.
Mm-hmm.
Delicious booty attachments.
Mm-hmm. And my last palm on this hand will be in the middle of her hamstring, kind of at the top. And a nice one here, right above the QL. I'm gonna do the same thing the other side. This is just a real basic warm up. Just giving a little bit of space between the muscles and the attachments. Once again, my left hand now is going to be at the top of her hip. Ooh, yeah, I can tell the difference in the two hips. Right hand is going to be giving a little space. Basically, my pinky is just at the bottom of her shoulder blade. But depending on how big your hands are, me giving you that bony landmark won't really matter. Feel free to kind of explore as you're going hand to hand and pressing in opposite directions. If you're lucky, a receiver will make little noises or thumb you up and let you know you're doing good. I hear Danielle, she likes it.
I do like it. Feels so good.
So you can see that big old glute max, the glute medius. You can see how all these supporting muscles interlock and work together. And there's the yummy one. Pressing down that big head of the leg. All those, I almost said yummy attachments. I don't know why that's my word of choice today, guys, but I hope you weren't like trying to be on a diet too, because I'm just going to get you going. Oh. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a psoas stretch. The first option I'm going to show you, because we have about 5-ish, maybe 8-ish minutes before it's time for us to change, because we like to do 2 30-minute trades. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure my receiver has enough space between her knees. Naturally, the receiver will just automatically change and give a little space, but I just like to make sure. So first things first, I'm just going to cross her feet and give her a little quad stretch. Just say, all right. Is that enough, Danielle?
Yeah.
As we said, she's been working out. Hill walker. Right? Some people, you could push their feet all the way to their glutes. Some people, maybe you'd stop here. With Danielle, we're about in the midline. And she's growling at me.
It's like super inflexible.
It's all good.
It should be more flexible.
We don't need to be flexible. We just want those muscles to be a little warmed up before we do a deep stretch. You know, it'll be, so it's not shocking. So once I feel like I've done a nice little stretch, and while we were doing that, you could have pushed on the toes a little bit. I'm not big into toe work. I'm like, stay off my toes, homie. So I don't tend to work too much on people's toes unless they're into that biz. So I'm going to cross one foot underneath the other. I'm just going to give some easy compressions along the opposing hamstring, kind of in the IT band slightly. It's where it's where the hamstring's connecting in to the IT band, just to give a little attention. And then I'm going to shift my body away from the foot that is up in the air, right? So I'm facing my guns forward. I'm going to come in and have an over hand reach. I have my leg up here to support my back. I'm going to go ahead and take a deep breath in. And this nice part here in the QL, we're going to press there. And as she breathes out, and she told me that's enough. So you see where her range of motion is. As I lower the leg, I'm lowering slowly, still applying pressure in her QL. Deep breath in. And remembering the same range of motion from last time, about here. So this is a great version if your arm to leg ratio is off, if your client has a heavier leg, if your back is bothering you. You know, different things like that. This would be a great version. We want to go ahead and do the opposite side because we care about our friend. We want them to feel nice and balanced. So instead of pressing all my weight on Danielle here, because this can be very tender, I'm just kind of leaning in and holding myself back some. Danielle, is that pressure good for you?
Great.
I figured so. Is that hurting your calf, having your foot push in?
No, it's that janky ankle.
Janky ankle. Be aware of janky ankles and tight calves. As we're pressing this in, it might be too much for their calves. So do be aware, we can adjust it, no problem. So I'm coming up with, on my left knee, with my right knee in the air, I'm reaching around and over, doing a overhand grip on her knee. Take a deep breath in. And I'm leaning back into my left knee. We've already done this two sides and the other side, so I know about her range of motion, but the range of motion for the two sides will differ. Deep breath in. In. Perfect. So the last thing I'm going to show you before we switch. So that is one way to do it. The other way would be, we're going to grab the foot, stand across the body. I tell Danielle to take a deep breath in and breath out. I like to stand at about the hip because this is a general good place to stand. Relax your leg. There you go. To get a good range of motion. Am I hurting your ankle? Is this the bad ankle?
It is, but you're not hurting it.
But I'm not hurting it, pulling on it? Okay. And do be aware if a client or if your receiver has a issue with sprains, twists, and they have a weak ankle, it might be easier for them. You pull from here. So I'm going to bring my foot up a little higher. I don't think she wants much more range of motion, but I'm going to give her a little bit more. Deep breath in. And is that range of motion good for you? Cool. A little more or no?
No, it's good.
Cool.
I know I'm oily, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So I'm being gentle with Danielle. She's got a hurt footsie. All right, you ready? Take a deep breath in. I'm bringing in my left foot high on the hip. Deep breath. And deep breath in. I'll kind of swing the leg if you're like Danielle and they're holding it.
I'm sorry.
Deep breath in. And out. Very nice. All right, how is that, Danielle?
That was amazing. I have legs.
You have legs. Awesome, guys. So let's go ahead at this time, and we're going to take a quick little bathroom break if you need to. Switch places. Let your receiver stretch out a little bit if they need, and then we will go ahead and switch places. Danielle is going to show us a couple things and maybe a couple of different approaches that might give you some other options on ways to work on one another. All right, see you in a second.
Hi guys, it's Danielle and I'm going to show you some low back, hip, and QL work on our lovely receiver Kristen here. If you guys are just tuning in, I'm going to be teaching now. If you are coming back from the break with us, I'm going to show you some variations just because that's what works with my body because, you know, we're different people. So you ready to roll, Kristen?
Ready to rock and
Very
roll.
cool. So Kristen, so first we're going to start off doing the palm press up the legs because honestly, it's just nice. It's just nice. I like to do this. Come in and just gentle palm press. I like to use the flat palm, you know, not the bony balls, I guess, of my hands or the heel. Just palming up there, wrapping around and feeling that tension. And as you can see, I'll be moving my body up. That way I'm not straining, I'm not leaning, just rocking side to side and letting gravity do its job as I hang out. Can feel the tension in Kristen's calves. She's definitely been doing squats. Yoga.
Ooh, single leg standing poses.
Single leg standing poses. That sounds way intense. So we want to be mindful of the back of the knees. We don't want to apply a lot of pressure there. There's a lot of stuff. It's called the popliteal fossa. It's got lots of blood, other stuff in there. You typically want to avoid it. Nobody likes to get hit in the back of the knees, right? So I'm going to just continue to palm walk up, feeling the tension in her hamstrings. And there's a lot. So I'm going to come up here and just rock a little bit, using a little bit more of the heels of my hand just to hook into some of these muscles. And you guys can feel it at home. As you can see on there, there's the hamstrings. There's a lot of them. There's 3. They're really big. And they cause a lot of pulling on this hip because they attach, as you can see, they attach up on that hip. And this is what accounts for a lot of that low back pain. So once we've warmed this up, we're going to take our knees and put them right here in the crease. Ooh, that tickled. Sorry. Be mindful of your receiver. Right here.
Yes, that's right.
is where we're going to put our knees, right where the glutes meet the hamstrings. So what I like to do is come up onto my toes, find that nice part of my knee right in there, and just slowly lower down and sink in just like that. How does that feel, Kristen?
Very good.
Okay, now I know she can take a lot more pressure, so I'm going to lean up, putting more of my body weight straight down. Let her breathe. Now I do want to say, oftentimes when we're working on the glutes, we are in the blast zone of the blast zone, that's all I call it. So whenever you are doing this more closer, deep glute work, just turn your head to the side. I'm sure your receivers, you know, posterior is beautiful, but, you know, again, we don't know what to have for dinner. Turn your head to the side. So I'm going to give her a little bit more pressure by kneeling up. And then I'm going to take my hands and again, palm. Find right here at the base of her spine is the sacrum. It is a triangle-shaped bone that helps attach our spine to our hips, and there's a lot of joints there and a lot of tendons and muscles that go across. And you can see on the screen some of the anatomy, those tiny little muscles. And you can also see how psoas goes all the way up from the inside of your leg bone, across your hips, all the way up to your low back. It's pretty ridiculous. So what we're going to do is put our hands, we're going to find the spine right along into that small of the back and just very gently palm press out.
That's bad.
I'm just feeling the tension, not digging in too much. A lot of times this area is very spasmy. You'll feel it like shaking as you're applying pressure. Your receiver will shake, ooh, you know, and that's totally understandable. This is a very protected part of our body. It's our core. It's how we stabilize. I like to move down a little bit right onto the top of the hips, being mindful again of the sacrum. Nobody really likes to have a lot of digging done in there. Just do this nice hip rocking like that. And that feels really nice. How does that feel, Kristen?
So good.
Good, because I was telling you exactly how it felt apparently. Now I can find a little bit of tension and lean in. And the thing to be mindful of is her floating ribs are right around this area and the top of her hip is right around here. So it's really only about a hand width. Some people will have much narrower spaces, some people much wider. Everybody is different. It's just a matter of adjusting your hand if it's a little bit more narrow, or making it wider if it's a little bit more wide. If needed, just fan out your hands, make them real big and diffuse that pressure. That way it's just not as sharp. So I like to come all the way up just because it's nice. And as you'll see, I'm rocking forward and using my body weight to apply this pressure. How's that feeling? Mm-hmm. Good. Still realizing that I've got my knees in the top of those hams where they meet glutes. So I'm getting all of those wonderful attachment points right there. As I continue to warm up her back, particularly her QL, which is quadratus lumborum. That's a long word to say. That's why we say QL a lot. And we're going to just warm that guy up because we're about to go do stuff. So once we've done that, I like to just lean back and sit onto my feet, brace myself on the sides, and then come up. So as Kristen showed you earlier, one of the ways to warm up the glutes is you can take your foot and just kick your partner. Who doesn't like doing that? That's amazing, right? So we are going to therapeutically kick our partner's booty. So I can use the ball of my foot right here, right in the center where that nice, meaty, muscular part is, and I can feel everything moving around. If I want to, I can flatten out my foot a little bit, do a little bit more gently. If I want more pressure, I'll turn my foot to the side and really get in there. And now I'm using my whole foot, using the side of my foot, using the ball of my foot, the heel of my foot, and just look at those glutes. They are flying all over the place, which is what we want, because you see the movement in her low back, in her spine. Very often we don't get that area moved. We just sit and we hold. Now we're getting this beautiful twist. If standing's not your jam, because not everybody likes to stand, there are times that I don't, and I just want to watch TV and hang out, and come over, sit off to the side, and just kick them this way. Look how great that is. This is therapeutic kicking again, everyone, as we watch murder docuseries and Narcos, you know. That's what we do, right? But again, you'll see glutes are rocking, legs are rocking, and we're just getting so much movement in that low back, which is exactly what we wanted. How'd that feel, Kristen? Mm-hmm. Nice, right? So 2 different ways we can warm up these glutes. We can stand and kick, or we can lay down and sit and kick, whatever works out well. So from here, what I like to do is come in and we're going to start working on the QL. Again, it's in between, the top of these hips and her floating ribs. We want to be very mindful of that. Nobody wants to get poked in their ribs. It's not very fun. There's very little meat in how you eat baby back ribs. It's these guys. Nobody likes to get poked there. Want to be mindful of the hips because, again, nobody likes getting poked in any sort of bones. What I like to do is side up to my receiver so they know I'm there. I'm not a ghost. Take that flat part of my elbow, find the middle of her spine, and just gently slide off until I'm no longer on the spine and I am on QL, and then I press down. How does that feel? Mm-hmm. So right now you can see I've stacked my body on top of my elbow. Her floating ribs are here, her hips are down here, I'm right in between. From here I can shear up. How does that feel? Mm-hmm. And have her breathe as we hold. Now I could play Candy Crush. I could definitely be in charge of the remote. Like, my receiver is not going to fight me for the TV for this, right? So if I wanted to watch, like, I don't know, anime. Do you like anime? Mm. No, I'm watching anime. Kristen can't say anything.
You can watch whatever you want if you're massaging me.
Yep, exactly.
That's the rule.
So find somebody who has a big TV, do this, and you can watch all the anime you want for like nothing. There you go. So I'm going to come out very slowly, because now that I've warmed it up, just using that flat part of my elbow, I'm going to come in and do it a little bit sharper. And I'll show you that in just a moment. So again, find the spine, slide off. So right there, I'm going to sink in. And then what I can do, I'm going to move my elbow forward just a little bit, move my arm. I'm going to lift my elbow up, and now it's become a much, much sharper tool. How does that feel?
That's good.
Good. So now this angle I'm coming at is more like a 45-degree angle versus a straight up and down. It's getting a little bit more lateral. And as you can see, the muscles that we're working on is part of that psoas, which comes up across the body and attaches into that low back, as well as the QL on the side, those big, strong, long muscles. Working all of the little rotatores and spinalis and erector muscles. There's like a million of them. So we just call them erectors because there's so many. So what I'm also doing now is I can feel the tension, and I'm going to start shearing a little bit more away from her body. And I do that by just pulling my elbow a little bit and leaning more back. Now, you might have some receivers who are like, man alive, I want more pressure pushed in. For whatever reason, there are people like that. So what we can do is we're going to come out. I'm going to start a little bit lower, press in, and then I'm going to push more towards her spine, very slowly. Now, if this is just like, oh man, my shoulders don't really want to do that, no worries. I got this sweet leg that I can just like lean into. Use this leg. I can use this leg. I can use 2 arms, whatever I need to get extra pressure. Basically, I'm not straining. I'm just hanging out, letting gravity and all 200 pounds of awesome do its work for me. How's that feel? Very good. Big deep breath in and out. I know she needs this work. I can feel her releasing, which is amazing and exactly what we wanted. So I'm going to slide down just a little bit more to get a little bit more focus onto QL, quadratus lumborum. But as you can see, we're working all of those low back muscles. And on this particular slide also, if we can go back to the other slide. Well, we won't. On some of these slides, what you'll see is down closer towards the bottom of the spine is this like whitish area. And that's actually tendon. That's where our muscles meet our bones, ligaments and tendons and all that stuff. That fascia can get very, very, very tight. So by pulling away from the spine, pulling away from the hip, helps relieve some of that also fascial tension. How'd that feel?
Very
good. And again, just one more time, I'm going to come in and lean and let her feel that. Big deep breath in. And on the out breath, I'm going to come out. Now, you can sit here for a very long time because it just feels amazing, but we're going to move on to the other side so as not to make her right side feel lonely. So again, here's her spine. I know her floating ribs are right around this area. Top of the hips are here. I'm going to take my elbow, find that spine, slide off, and then sink in. Okay, I like them to know that I'm all up close to them, so I'm not a ghost giving a massage. I'm going to come in, found that spine, slide off, and big deep breath in and down.
Oh, so good.
So this one again, I'm stacking my body weight just right on top of my arm. I'm not pushing in. I'm using gravity. I'm hanging out. I'm watching TV, having a drink, because it's St. Patrick's Day, and that's what we're supposed to do tonight, right? And just hanging out and relaxing while she's getting some really great body work.
Yep.
Best thing is to keep in mind that your receiver, this can be very intense, and we want to make sure that their breathing is deep and slow. They start going, probably a bit too much pressure, probably need to back off a little bit. And if that's the case, all you do is just sit back a little bit more. Don't have to lean in quite so much. Kristen, we know, can take a lot more pressure, so I'm definitely going to lean in a little bit more. Big deep breath in and out. Ooh, right there. How's that? So these muscles, QL, Psoas, these are some of our main core stabilization muscles. These muscles are how we sit in a chair, how we bend, how we twist, how we literally exist in the world. If we didn't have these muscles, we would just like kind of flop over, and it would look very weird, and I guess our world would look much different. But we sit up, so we need these guys. They do have a tendency to get very, very tight and stuck because we sit in chairs all day, we drive for like 500 hours, especially in Austin traffic, like we just kind of live in our cars. And just sitting and holding in these very static poses, our muscles don't realize that they can move, they can stretch, they can bend like they're supposed to. So we often have to go in and do some gentle reminders or some heavy compressional reminders that, hey, it's okay, relax. Take a big, deep breath in and allow yourself to feel the release and let that tension go and remind your muscles and your back that it can relax. It does not have to keep you up straight all the time. Big deep breath in and down. How did that feel? Great. So I definitely feel some tension in her hips as well. So what I might do, because I'm here, I can feel the sacrum right here. I'm going to take this part of my elbow, find that sacrum, just fall off of it a little bit. Get a little bit of that top glute, just because it feels nice. The reason is there's, again, a lot of tendons that attach all through this area, and they can get bunched up. So just put a little bit of elbow right here in this top glute because she needs it. Again, be mindful, blast zone. It's that way. I'm this way. I'm safe. I got an escape. I don't think, what do we eat? Corned beef and hash? That's a, I think I'll ask Kristen.
No, I'm here.
There.
Corned beef and hash.
That's Irish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Irish. I should know that.
I worked at Sherlock's.
Yeah, cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm Irish too, but I've never been to Ireland.
Oh, it's beautiful. They have a lot of corned beef there too. So once we've done that, all right, I also like to come in sometimes, take my hand right above the sacrum, just get some more movement and see how it feels. And it's a lot better. She's still super tight though, y'all. We'll have to spend like 5 hours here. And again, good thing we're watching like a Netflix docu-series binge-a-thon that's like 13 hours. I could just sit and watch and drink responsibly while Kristen got some great body work. But we're not doing that. We're teaching you guys. So I'm not going to make you watch me watch a documentary. So once we've done that with QL, we're going to focus on some of our hip flexors. So one of the ones that I like to do is first a very simple quad stretch. Ooh. This is problematic for a lot of people. I know I have problems with it. My quads don't like to stretch. They're very strong, squats for days. And so for a lot of people, this is it. This is enough. They feel that in their quads. They feel that in their hip flexors. The other thing that we can do is bring it up. Take my bottom hand, my outside hand, come up underneath the knee, and I'm going to lift up. Slide my bottom leg right underneath her leg. So she's supported on my knee. Everything is good. I'm going to take my top hand right there at that hand butt crease, press down, and then bring heel to the glute. How does that feel? This is a very passive psoas stretch, as well as a very direct hip flexor and quad stretch. A lot of people that do yoga will notice that their muscle bellies are very, very flexible, but they have problems at their attachments. This one focuses directly on those attachments. So then when we come out very slowly. I like to grab the ankle, just back out, lay down gently. Once we've done that, we're going to do another psoas stretch. Now, Kristen showed you this version earlier, which I'm a big fan of. Like to come in, grab the ankle, right? If they have slidey pants on, I'm just going to move them up because I want the skin. I want to hold on to that because I'm going to take this leg for a ride. We're going to go on a journey. You ready, Kristen? Would you mind turning on the other way, babe? Hey, turn your head to the other way. Kristen's going to keep her head this way, and it's going to be more uncomfortable. Remind your receiver to look the other way, though. Big deep breath in. And I'm going to lift up and walk across just like that. How does that feel? Now I can do this with one hand. I can do this with two hands. There we go. See how she flipped over? And just have her breathe. And what we're getting at here is we are getting that psoas stretch, which remember attaches from the very bottom or the very top of your leg bone, your inferior trochanter, not the greater, anyway, inside of your leg bone, the lesser trochanter, inside of your leg bone, all up across your hips, all the way to your low back. So this is that full leg stretch. Now, if your receiver's leg is too heavy or you just don't feel like picking them up and taking them for a journey, that's totally okay. What you can do is we can do this cross-body. So once we've done our wonderful quad stretch, because we always need to do that, it feels good. How's that feel? She's fallen asleep again, everyone. I'm going to assume it feels amazing.
Yes, so sorry.
There we go. So once we've done that, I'm going to take my bottom hand, my outside hand, hook it up underneath her knee. I like to rest their feet on my shoulder because it's just a good hand help. Sometimes their feet are like all the way up by my head. Sometimes I'm like trying to wrangle them, but generally rest them along the shoulder. I like to take my top hand and again, find that QL where we spent some earlier time in. I'm going to have Kristen take a big deep breath in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up and sit back and do kind of an abbreviated psoas stretch. Now with my hand on her low back, I'm really isolating that psoas. If that's too much, I can just take it off. And I got a from her, so I know it's a little bit too much, it was me a little bit too aggressive. But often I like to stabilize here and hold, and then big deep breath in. And I like to come down, and when I do this, I press in more into that QL. As I lower her leg down, I like to come up, grab the foot. I usually hook into the pants and lower them down that way. So there's two different variations on how to do that psoas stretch. And then once you've done that, you can just find other times, like I know again, Kristen's gonna have a lot going on in her QL, so I'm gonna wanna come in and spend just a lot more time hanging out, pressing in just like that, because this is what she needs. Other people might need way more work on their hamstrings because their hams are super tight and it's pulling those glutes back and we're like, whoa, what's going on? So we're gonna come in and press down like that. And press across these glutes because that feels good. And that's what we need. What we always want to make sure of is we're responding to what our receiver needs. That way they enjoy it, and that way you enjoy giving. And we're going to come back up. Brace. And then step out. You done, Kristen?
Uh-huh.
All right.
I took a long nappy poo. But I hope you guys had as much fun receiving that and giving that as we did, especially me because I've been having
I'm gonna come down
some
here.
issues. Yeah.
Here we are. I'm sorry, anyway.
Anyway, I guess we'll see you guys back in 2 weeks or so. I'm not sure. This month is kind of a funky one, so it might be about 3 weeks. So we'll start in the first week of the next month, correct?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys the first week in April. Oh my God, I can't believe it's almost time.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy.
But you guys, go ahead and feel free to shop, look through the playlist on Robert Gardner Wellness YouTube. You can check out the different tie jams that we've done. If you've got different issues maybe you want to focus on, check it out and see what you guys want to work on. And if you have any ideas for next time, feel free to comment so we can try some new stuff for you.
Yeah, give us some cool ideas. You know, we know what we like to get worked on because we always have certain issues that we need, like as I've even got my elbow in her glute. But if you need neck stuff, if you've got a weird, shoulder thing or like chest thing, let us know. We've got cool stuff for that too. I'd love to show you some chest stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just do chest stuff.
If you don't say anything, we're doing chest next time.
Yeah, there we go. If you don't say anything, Yeah, we're gonna do rib meat and chest.
Yeah. Well, happy St. Patrick's, you guys. Pinch anyone that's not wearing green, and be safe and take care of each other tonight. Till we meet again.
Take care, guys. Bye.